Hi, it's Dean Miko from Edge7 Financial, and today we're answering an email question from Graham. It's the second segment in our Ask Edge7 series, our question and answer section. And I was going to wait for a second question on a different topic, but this issue is going to affect way too many people, actually hundreds of thousands of Australians. So I figured it was best to answer the question as soon as possible to hopefully help a few other people. Graham's email, and I thank him for the email, is titled Proposed Changes to Pension Entitlements. And the body of Graham's email reads, in January 2017, the current government proposes to change the existing arrangement for pension entitlements. In my case, as a single homeowner, the upper threshold of assets outside of my home is reduced from $775,500 to $547,000. Based on my assets outside of my home, this results in a significant reduction in my part pension. At some point, I will completely lose the pension. I feel penalised for serious retirement planning over a 30-year period, having raised and educated 5 children prior. We were told by the government that these changes would assist 170,000 pensioners, but they forgot to tell us this would affect 2.2 million pensioners. I have read numerous articles on this matter and would appreciate your valued advice as to moving forward. Well, Graham, thank you for your question. And it's a tricky one because the government's presenting 400,000 pensioners are going to be affected or have a reduction in their pension, but the stats also suggest, it's going to be something like 2 million pensioners out there. So Graham, I thank you for your email, and that's why I thought I'd answer this question as soon as possible. And in answering this question, it is general advice only. I'm not taking into account anyone who's watching's personal specific circumstances. The irony for me with this is that I've been helping Graham over about the last 4 years build up his assets outside of his family home via the share market, and now having done so, it creates a situation where now he's going to lose a good part of his age pension. So sort of a bittersweet moment for me, and it's not great news for many people out there. But what I see is that there is an opportunity. It can be great news if you take hold of this opportunity to replace your lost income. I'm going to be having multiple conversations over multiple months, if not over years, with Graham about this. And even though this change comes into effect on the 1st of January, I wouldn't recommend anyone go out and make a rash decision on this basis. So one of the many scenarios to replace that lost income, which is going to become the important part, might be for Graham. He might not like this advice, but it's one option, would be to perhaps sell down his property, to sell his property and perhaps buy a property half the value of his current home. And in doing so, perhaps then he could buy an investment property with the other half of that money to generate rental income to replace that lost income. Another option would be to use that other half of that money, for instance, to buy more of the same high quality, good dividend paying shares to replace that income. There's lots of other options, but that's one option I'll be speaking to Graham about. And at the end of the day, it's about what he's looking to achieve and what's in his best interest. And it's not just about the financial side of things, it's also about a holistic approach to looking at his whole life. Where does he want to live? Does he want to maybe move to the beach? What kind of accommodation? Does he want to move closer to the grandkids? Those sorts of considerations are going to come into the mix, not just for Graham, but I'm sure for many people, for many pensioners out there affected. So I'm going to be developing a plan to maximise Graham's income, and I can certainly do that for you too if you're concerned about these government pension changes. If you're watching this via YouTube, I'm going to have a link at the bottom of this video which will link to an article I've just written which details, I guess, the changes to the assets test and how it affects pensioners. And if you're watching this video via the Edge7 website, the article below this one on the blog page you're on should have that information there, so hopefully you can find that, no worries. But I'm really excited because this is not just an issue affecting pensioners as I first considered or first thought over the next 12 to 18 months. This issue is going to have far-reaching good and bad consequences across all parts of the country for probably the next 12 to 18 years, not 12 to 18 months. And there's going to be winners and losers out of this. It's taken me 4 months of thinking, but Graham's question, which I really appreciate, has caused me to dig a bit deeper into it and realise there's a broader issue going on. The government are making a massive change, and this is the very first step in this paradigm change, which is going to last many, many years, probably decades. It's going to affect the economy, the property market. It's going to affect house prices and unit prices, but in different ways, and they might surprise you. It's going to affect government spending, the share market, infrastructure spending, and the list goes on and on. And while it's initially going to impact pensioners directly over the next, well, it starts in 4 months really, but over the next 12 to 18 months, it's going to also impact on baby boomers, Gen X like myself, who are going to be caught in the middle, and Generation Y as well. I am really excited about this change because I believe I can provide even more benefit to my clients. I can maximise their income even more for those that choose to become clients. So I'm really excited, and it's like a light bulb moment. It's taken me 4 months since the budget, since these changes were announced, to figure it out, but I've now finally figured it out, and it's a really great feeling. It's a really great feeling. Yeah, I'm going to be able to help a lot of people. So Graham, thank you for your question again. I hope that answers your question. I hope that helps anyone out there that might be watching this. If you did like this video, it'd be wonderful if you could just tell one person about it. I'd sincerely appreciate that. Please follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're out there to stay up to date with our content. And if you have any questions, please feel free to write into myself, dean@edge7.com.au, and I'll answer your question as soon as possible. Thank you and have a great day.